Have you ever felt like you don't quite fit in with the world around you? Like no matter how hard you try to conform, there's this deep, unshakable feeling that you're different? It's as if you're tuned into a completely different frequency than most people, and you wonder why you see things others don't, why you feel things so deeply, and why you often sense a calling that's bigger than yourself. Let me tell you something. This is not a coincidence. This is not your imagination. You are one of the chosen ones. But what does it mean to be a chosen one? It's not about being better than anyone else, and it's certainly not about living a life without challenges. In fact, the opposite is often true. Being chosen means you've been called to rise to a higher level of consciousness, to align with a higher vibrational group, and to lead others, not by force, but simply through the power of your energy, your presence, and your example. And here's the thing, you have always known this. Somewhere deep inside, even before you had the words to describe it, you've known that you came here for a reason. But how do you know for sure? How can you tell if you're truly part of this higher vibrational group? There are signs, clear, undeniable signs, that set chosen ones apart. These signs often show up in ways that are subtle but deeply profound, and once you start recognizing them, you'll begin to understand that you're not crazy, you're not alone, and you're not lost. You're exactly where you're meant to be.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Let's start with one of the most powerful signs, your sensitivity. Have you noticed that you feel things more deeply than others? That you can walk into a room and instantly sense the energy even before anyone says a word? Maybe you've been told you're too sensitive or that you overthink everything. But let me tell you, this sensitivity is not a weakness, it's a gift. It's one of the clearest indicators that you're tuned into a higher frequency. Your ability to feel energy, whether it's joy, pain, or even the unspoken emotions of others, is proof that you're connected to something beyond the physical world. You're not just seeing life through your eyes, you're experiencing it through your soul. But sensitivity isn't always easy to manage, is it? Sometimes it feels overwhelming. Sometimes it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, because you're not just carrying your own emotions, you're picking up on the energy of the people, places, and situations around you. And this is where the path of the chosen one becomes challenging. Because in order to stay aligned with your higher vibration, you have to learn how to protect your energy. You have to learn how to discern what's yours and what's not. So let me ask you, how often do you take the time to clear your energy, to ground yourself, to reconnect with your center? Because if you're not doing this, chances are the weight you're feeling isn't even yours to carry. Another sign that you're part of a higher vibrational group is your sense of purpose. Even if you don't know exactly what it is yet, there's this undeniable feeling that you're here for something greater. You might not have all the answers, but you know deep down that your life is meant to make an impact. Maybe it's through creativity, service, leadership, or simply the way you show up for others. The specifics don't matter as much as the feeling itself. It's that quiet voice inside you that whispers, You're meant for more. But here's the catch. Purpose often comes with resistance. The more powerful your calling, the more obstacles you're likely to face. Have you noticed that your path hasn't been easy? That you've had to overcome challenges, pain, and even heartbreak just to get to where you are now? This isn't a punishment, it's preparation. Every trial you've faced has been shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you to step into your role as a chosen one. Because here's the truth. You can't guide others through darkness unless you've faced your own. Let me ask you, what have you learned from your struggles? Because the lessons you've gained aren't just for you. They're meant to be shared. They're part of your gift to the world. And if you're willing to embrace your challenges as part of your journey, you'll begin to see that they're not obstacles. They're stepping stones. They're the very things that have brought you closer to your higher vibration. Another undeniable sign of being a chosen one is your connection to synchronicities. Have you noticed patterns in your life that seem too perfect to be random? Maybe it's seeing repeating numbers like 1111 or 333. Or maybe it's having certain people or opportunities show up at exactly the right moment. These synchronicities are not coincidences. They're messages. They're signs from the universe reminding you that you're on the right path. And the more aligned you become with your higher vibration, the more these synchronicities will appear. They're like breadcrumbs guiding you toward your purpose. But here's the thing. Synchronicities don't work unless you're paying attention. How often do you stop and reflect when these moments happen? How often do you ask yourself, what is the universe trying to tell me? Because every synchronicity carries a message, but it's up to you to decode it. It's up to you to take action on the guidance you're receiving. Because being chosen isn't just about noticing the signs, it's about responding to them. And finally, perhaps the most profound sign that you're part of a higher vibrational group is your desire to grow. Chosen ones are never satisfied with staying the same. There's a restlessness inside you, a hunger for expansion, for evolution, for truth. You're not content with surface-level answers or shallow conversations. You crave depth, meaning, and authenticity. This is why you're drawn to spiritual practices, personal development, and the pursuit of higher knowledge. It's not because you're trying to fix yourself, it's because you're remembering who you are. You're peeling back the layers of conditioning to reveal the essence of your soul. But this path of growth can feel lonely at times, can't it? Because as you evolve, you might find that the people around you don't understand your journey. You might feel like you're outgrowing relationships, environments, or even parts of yourself. And this can be painful, but it's also necessary because as you raise your vibration, you're creating space for new connections, new opportunities, and new levels of alignment to enter your life. So let me ask you, are you willing to embrace this growth even when it feels uncomfortable? Are you willing to let go of what no longer serves you even when it's hard? because this is what it means to be a chosen one. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up every day with the intention to align with your higher self, even when the world tries to pull you back down. These signs, the sensitivity, the sense of purpose, the synchronicities, the desire for growth, are not random. They're proof that you belong to a higher vibrational group. They're reminders that you're part of something greater, something more powerful than you can imagine. And the more you embrace these signs, the more you'll step into your role as a chosen one. Now that we've explored the signs that you're one of the chosen ones, let's dive deeper into why this path is often so challenging and how you can turn those challenges into fuel for your higher purpose. Because if you've recognized these signs in yourself, you've probably also noticed that being different, being chosen, isn't always easy. In fact, it can feel downright isolating at times. But what if I told you that the very struggles you face are not obstacles, but invitations? What if every difficulty, every pain, every setback is a carefully placed lesson designed to help you remember who you are? Think about this for a moment. Why do you think chosen ones face so many trials? Why are you the one who feels the weight of the world? The one who seems to encounter more resistance than others? The answer lies in your purpose. You see, chosen ones are not here to live ordinary lives. You're here to transcend the ordinary, to rise above the limitations of the collective consciousness, and to pave the way for others to do the same. But in order to guide others, you must first navigate your own darkness. You must face your own doubts, fears, and limitations, so that when the time comes, you can show others the way out of theirs. Let me put it this way. The challenges you've faced are your training ground. They are designed to refine you, to strip away the layers of illusion, and to connect you with your true essence. But here's the key. It's not enough to simply endure these challenges. You must learn from them. You must alchemize them into wisdom, strength, and compassion. So let me ask you, when you look back at the hardest moments of your life, what did they teach you? What parts of yourself did they reveal? For many chosen ones, the lessons are about resilience, trust, and surrender. Resilience, because your journey requires you to rise again and again, no matter how many times you fall. Trust, because you must believe in your path even when the road ahead is unclear. And surrender, because the more you try to control every detail, the more you block the flow of the universe. This is one of the hardest lessons for chosen ones to learn, that true power comes not from forcing things to happen, but from aligning with the natural rhythm of life. But alignment is not passive. It's not about sitting back and waiting for the universe to do all the work. It's about taking inspired action from a place of inner knowing. And this is where your challenges become your greatest asset. Every time you overcome a difficulty, you expand your capacity to trust yourself. Every time you face a fear, you dissolve its power over you. And every time you choose to rise, you strengthen the connection between your human self and your higher self. This connection is what allows you to move from surviving to thriving. It's what allows you to step fully into your role as a chosen one. Now, let's talk about why this path can feel so lonely at times. Have you ever felt like you're speaking a different language than the people around you? Like, no matter how much you try to explain your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, they just don't get it? This is one of the most common experiences for chosen ones. And it's not because there's something wrong with you, it's because your vibration is different. When you're operating at a higher frequency, the way you see the world, the way you think, the way you feel is naturally going to stand out. And while this can feel isolating, it's also a sign that you're on the right path. But loneliness is not your destiny. One of the most beautiful things about being a chosen one is that as you continue to raise your vibration, you'll begin to attract others who resonate with your energy. You'll find your soul family, those who understand you on a level that goes beyond words. But here's the thing, in order to find these people, you have to be willing to let go of those who no longer align with your growth. This can be one of the hardest parts of the journey. Let me ask you, are there relationships, environments, or habits in your life that are holding you back? And more importantly, are you willing to release them, even if it feels uncomfortable? Releasing doesn't mean cutting people off with anger or judgment. It means honoring the role they've played in your life and recognizing when it's time to move on. It means creating space for new connections and opportunities that are aligned with your higher vibration. And it means trusting that as you continue to grow, the right people and experiences will naturally flow into your life. Another reason chosen ones feel isolated is because of their deep connection to truth. You see, when you're part of a higher vibrational group, you can't ignore the things that others might overlook. You see through the illusions of society, the lies we tell ourselves, and the systems that keep people stuck. And this can be both a blessing and a burden. And it's a blessing because it gives you clarity and insight. But it's a burden because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And this can make it hard to relate to those who are still operating from a place of fear, denial, or ignorance. But here's the thing, your role is not to judge or condemn those who aren't where you are. Your role is to hold space for them, to embody the truth so fully and so unapologetically that it inspires others to do the same. This doesn't mean preaching or trying to change people. It means living your truth with such integrity and authenticity that your very presence becomes a catalyst for transformation. So let me ask you, are you living your truth? Are you embodying the higher vibration you've been called to align with? Living your truth requires courage. It requires you to stand firm in who you are, even when the world around you tries to pull you back into old patterns. It requires you to trust yourself, even when others doubt you. And it requires you to keep going, even when the path feels uncertain. But here's the reward. When you live your truth, you unlock your full power as a chosen one. You become a beacon of light in a world that desperately needs it. And you begin to attract the people, opportunities, and experiences that are meant for you. You see, being a chosen one isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up every day, with the intention to align with your higher self, even when it's hard. It's about embracing your challenges as part of your journey and using them as fuel for your growth. And most importantly, it's about remembering who you are and why you're here. If you've made it this far, you've probably realized something profound. The path of a chosen one is not an easy one. It's filled with resistance, challenges, and moments where you might question everything. But what if I told you that this resistance is not your enemy, that every obstacle, every setback, and every moment of doubt is not here to block you, but to teach you? This is how chosen ones rise, by transforming struggles into spiritual mastery. Resistance isn't here to stop you, it's here to shape you. Take a moment to reflect on this. What happens when you face resistance? Do you shrink back in fear, or do you rise to meet it? This question is at the heart of your journey, because being chosen doesn't mean you're exempt from difficulties. It means you're being called to approach them differently. The challenges you face are not random. They are perfectly tailored to your growth, designed to help you unearth the wisdom, strength, and courage that already exist within you. Resistance is, in fact, one of your greatest teachers. And let's break this down. Why does resistance seem to show up the moment you try to step into your power? Why does it feel like the universe tests you every time you take a leap toward your higher self? The answer lies in the nature of vibrational shifts. As a chosen one, you're constantly raising your vibration, moving from one frequency to a higher one. But every time you elevate, your old patterns, the fears, the doubts, the limiting beliefs, rise to the surface. They don't want to let go. They cling to you because they're comfortable, because they're familiar. Resistance is simply the friction between who you've been and who you're becoming. So how do you move through this resistance? How do you break free from the grip of your old self and fully align with your higher vibration? The first step is awareness. You must become aware of the patterns that are holding you back. Ask yourself, what stories am I telling myself that keep me stuck? What fears are whispering in my ear, convincing me to stay small? Awareness is like a flashlight in the dark. It illuminates the shadows so you can see them for what they are: illusions. One of the biggest illusions chosen ones face is the fear of failure. Have you ever noticed how the moment you try to step into your purpose, doubts creep in? What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if people judge me? These fears are not unique to you. They are part of the human experience. But here's the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone to it. Every time you fail, you're not moving backward. You're refining your path. You're learning, growing, and becoming stronger. So let me ask you, what would you do if you weren't afraid of failing? What risks would you take if you trusted that every step, even the missteps, was leading you closer to your purpose? Another form of resistance chosen ones encounter is external judgment. When you start living in alignment with your higher vibration, not everyone will understand. Some people might question you, criticize you, or even try to pull you back into old ways of being. This can be painful, especially when it comes from those you care about. But here's what you need to remember. Their judgment is not about you, it's about them. Your growth can be triggering for those who are not ready to face their own. When you shine your light, it will either inspire others to step into their own light or highlight the darkness they've been avoiding. Either way, it's not your job to dim yourself to make others comfortable. Instead, your job is to stay rooted in your truth, to trust that the people who are meant to walk this path with you will rise to meet you, and those who don't, they're simply not part of your journey right now. So let me ask you, how often do you compromise your authenticity to avoid judgment? And what would happen if you stopped? What would your life look like if you gave yourself full permission to be who you are, unapologetically? Now let's talk about the most powerful way to move through resistance. Surrender. Many people misunderstand surrender, thinking it means giving up or being passive, but true surrender is an act of courage. It's about releasing control, letting go of the need to force outcomes, and trusting that the universe is working in your favor. Surrender doesn't mean you stop taking action, it means you align your actions with trust rather than fear. It means you let go of the how and focus on the why. Why are you here? Why do you feel this calling? Why are you willing to face this resistance in the first place? When you connect with your why, you tap into a source of strength that is far greater than your fear. But surrender is not something you do once and forget. It's a daily practice. Every morning, you have to choose to let go of what you can't control and focus on what you can. You can control your thoughts, your energy, your actions, and your attitude. You can choose to meet resistance with curiosity instead of frustration. You can choose to see challenges as opportunities instead of obstacles. You can choose to trust that every step, no matter how difficult, is shaping you into the person you're meant to be. And here's the beautiful thing about resistance. The moment you stop fighting it, it begins to dissolve. When you stop resisting resistance, it loses its power over you. Think about this. What would happen if, instead of seeing your challenges as roadblocks, you saw them as invitations? What if every difficulty was a chance to deepen your strength, your wisdom, and your faith? This shift in perspective can transform your entire journey. Remember, resistance is not here to punish you, it's here to prepare you. Every time you face resistance, you're being given a choice: to stay where you are or to rise to the next level. And as a chosen one, your soul will always choose to rise. It's who you are. It's why you're here. So, the next time you encounter resistance, instead of asking, "Why is this helping me grow?" because that's the key to transforming struggles into mastery. Now, as we move toward the culmination of this journey, let's pause and reflect on what it truly means to embrace your role as a chosen one. You've recognized the signs, the sensitivity, the synchronicities, the challenges, and the calling to rise above the ordinary. You've begun to understand that resistance is not here to break you, but to shape you, acting as the fire that refines your soul. But the question now is this: will you fully step into your purpose? Will you embrace the reason you were chosen? The truth is, being a chosen one is not about receiving a title or basking in some notion of superiority. It's about responsibility. It's about owning the fact that your life is not just about you. You've been chosen because you have something to contribute to the collective awakening of humanity. You're here to be a light in the darkness, not by fixing others or saving the world, but by embodying the highest version of yourself. And when you do that, your light naturally inspires others to awaken to their own. But fully stepping into this role requires courage. It requires you to let go of the stories that have kept you small. It requires you to stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect version of yourself. Because here's the truth: you are already enough. You've always been enough. You don't need anyone's permission to start living your truth. The only thing you need is the willingness to take the next step, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain. Let me ask you something. What would your life look like if you stopped holding back, if you allowed yourself to fully embody the energy of who you're meant to be? Imagine waking up every day with a sense of purpose, knowing that every choice you make, every word you speak, and every action you take is aligned with your higher self. This is the life you were born to live, and the only thing standing between you and that life is your willingness to claim it. But here's the thing: stepping into your purpose doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out. Purpose isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's not about achieving some grand external goal. It's about how you show up in each moment. It's about the energy you bring to your relationships, your work, and your daily life. Purpose is not something you find, it's something you create. And as a chosen one, your purpose is as unique as your soul. It's not something anyone else can define for you. It's something you must uncover within yourself. So how do you do this? How do you align with your purpose and fully step into your role as a chosen one? The answer lies in listening to yourself, to your intuition, to the quiet whispers of your soul. Every day you're being guided. Every moment the universe is speaking to you, nudging you toward your highest path. But the question is, are you listening? Are you creating space in your life to hear that guidance? Or are you drowning it out with the noise of the world? Start by tuning in. Spend time in stillness, whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply being present with yourself. Ask yourself questions like, what lights me up? What makes me feel alive? What am I here to give? And then trust the answers that come. They might not always make logical sense, and they might require you to step outside your comfort zone, but your soul knows the way. The more you listen to it, the more you'll align with your purpose. And as you align with your purpose, you'll begin to notice something incredible. Your life will start to flow. Opportunities will appear. The right people will cross your path. Synchronicities will multiply. This is the magic of living in alignment with your higher vibration. When you stop resisting your path and start embracing it, the universe responds in ways that are nothing short of miraculous. But let me be clear, This doesn't mean your journey will be free of challenges. As a chosen one, you'll continue to face tests and trials. But now you'll see them for what they are: opportunities to grow, to deepen your faith, and to refine your purpose. You'll no longer see challenges as roadblocks, but as stepping stones. And with each step, you'll become stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the truth of who you are. So let me ask you one final question. Are you ready to fully step into your power? Are you ready to embrace your role as a chosen one and live the life you were born to live? Because the time is now. The world needs your light, your wisdom, your unique energy. And the only thing standing between you and your highest potential is the belief that you're not ready. But you are. You've always been. You are chosen for a reason, and the moment you decide to embrace that truth, everything will begin to shift. The universe is waiting for you to step fully into your purpose. The question is, will you answer the call? This is your moment. This is your time. Rise, chosen one. The world is waiting.